Good morning, pregame crew. It is Wednesday, March 6, 2024, 6:22 a.m. Mountain Time, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time. Good morning. How are ya? We will officially get started in 7.5 minutes. Between now and then, I'm going to say hello to my friends, do an audio visual check, and take a few chart requests. Perfect night truck. Thank you. Good morning, Shake and Bake. Hey, Tom, Greg, Casey, Sam, Rob, Cliff, Hector, hey Wave, Marcella, Bullstrike, Success, One-Liner, Topher. Hey Mike, oh Mal, that sounds glorious. Hey Donald, Awesome Jungle Cat, Dollar Tree, Farmer, how are y'all doing? PLTR, they have news this morning. They won an Army contract, and looks like they just got over resistance of 2569. Weekly bull flag is now confirmed. They were struggling up here when they did that peak above and fail. Your next resistance is 2711. This is a gap and go situation, so they've got to hold 2441, yesterday's high on any pullback, to keep any momentum going, or keep the momentum going. It has the highest volume traded of any stock over $2 this morning, so should be a lot of volatility. Thanks, Bill. That's nice of you to say. Hey, Jim and Gus. Okay, Success, you better be bringing me a good one. I have high expectations for you. Oh, come on now. Potential weekly bear flag on deer. As long as we stay below 370.58, this is a potential weekly bear flag. Yeah, we're just getting these tiny higher highs without follow through. This could be a great top fish setup. I want y'all, someone to ask about a chart that looks like this. Do you remember we traded this? Actually, I think it was the 4-hour that was so tight. On sound back here when we had that high compression squeeze and this tight pattern, I want somebody to bring me a chart like that. Every morning, this is what I'm looking for. These are the most explosive plays. Good morning, Chris. Hey, Duke. Philip. Oh, I'm on sound, so I might as well stay here. Sound had a fundamental issue last week. They had earnings, and they dropped on earnings. NVDA does have a stake in them now. We're opening up inside yesterday's range. It could be a 4-hour bear flag, so be careful. I'm staying away from this name right now, at least to the long side. I'm not convinced that the bears are done with this one. They really latched onto the earnings last week in a bad way. Okay, coin. I'm going to like coin short as long as Bitcoin remains below the all-time high now. So 239.98, it got stopped at 240 psychological yesterday, so it's gapping up because Bitcoin is bouncing, but this would be a short for me against 240. As long as Bitcoin stays below 69,000. Hey Paula, Luzmar, Sir Fernando. On GigaCloud, is that GCT? Looks like it's getting a dead cat bounce. Nice long lower wick of bulls buying that dip yesterday. Yeah, we're up testing yesterday's high. Bears will be waiting right there at $39.92 at $40. Bears will be waiting right there for a top fish setup. You're going to want to wait for a pullback if you're looking for a long setup. We're running into the 50 MA right now. On toss, they have TTM squeeze built into toss. but they don't have the Squeeze Pro built in. You have to buy that. TradingView, they have TTM Squeeze Pro free. Dylan, you're like Mama Lori. I love it. Hey, Keggers. Gotta protect those eyes. This is a dog. And yes, I said dog. 4-hour potential bear flag. Well, we are approaching yesterday's high, but this still looks like a dog. Oh, thanks, Donald. I didn't know that. Hey, Ray. You're in Bito, Randy. You're shorting Bitcoin, or is that long? Bito is long. Okay. We could end up today with an inside bar on Bito with the size of yesterday's range with that Bitcoin pullback. So you could end up with an inside day here. PDD. PDD is green this morning. Ugh. It broke the 120.20 support. You have gap fill down here at 118.88. I guess we can consider that gap filled now because we got within 13 cents of it yesterday. Let's see what the bulls can do. Looks like they had news overnight. JD had earnings. I don't know if that had any impact on PDD or what. It's all about yesterday's high. Good morning. I will go over Apple and Tesla. I go over it every day, Philip. All right, let's get started with the show. Officially, good morning. This is who I am. I'm Chart Gal Lori, and I'm part of the Chart Guys community. We teach technical analysis. If you want to give me a follow on X at Chart Gal Lori, that would be wonderful. Let's take a look at today's economic calendar. We have Fed Chair Powell. He will be testifying today and tomorrow. We have JOLTS 30 minutes after market opens. We have JOLTS. And remember, I should say with Powell, they have a lot of opening remarks. So Powell may not even talk until 11 a.m. Eastern. So just remember that. We have oil inventory at 10:30. We have Fed speak at noon, and we have the beige book at 2, and then more Fed speak at 3:15. Busy, busy day. All right. So tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, so at 32 hours, we have the journey of 7-figure traders. 2 of our traders in our room. They will be interviewed by Chart Guys Jungle Funk. He'll be interviewing Devin and Trend. They are awesome guys, and I'm so looking forward to this webinar. And the link is right here pinned in chat if you're interested. All right. Let's look at the table. I totally forgot to show the table yesterday. So today we're leaning a little more bullish than bearish. However, I'm going to put an asterisk on that. A 4-hour lower high is the more likely scenario. So we'll see what happens today with the data that we have at 10 a.m. JOLTS is very important data. Super important. So it could move the market. So let's go look at ES. On the 4-hour, we're looking for a lower high compared to 51.57. So when you go from a higher high to a lower low, typically on the bounce, you're looking for a lower high. The question is usually, is it a bear flag or is it an equilibrium? Right now, we have bounced enough to give us enough room for a higher low. So the way that I would divide the day, if we're going to sequence things out, which we like to do here. If I just split the day, let's pretend like that's half the day. This is the morning. This is AM. And this is PM. So if we're dividing up the day, let's just say the first 3 hours and the last 3 hours. I know there's 6.5 hours, but just bear with me. If we divide it up, I would be looking bearish. In the AM, we're looking for a lower high. Oh, dang it, I have to turn my magnet off and remember to put it back on. I know it looks ridiculous when I stop and do these things, but I think it's important. So in the AM, the first most logical and most likely scenario is a lower high. So that means bears are looking to top fish the morning session. And then odds favor a higher low on any pullback. Is this exactly how it's going to happen? No, but this is the most likely scenario. So we'll see how bulls react to the JOLTS data, because we have a fundamental catalyst. It could propel us to a higher high. But that is not the most likely scenario. This is the most likely scenario. So AM, I would be looking more bearish, and afternoon, I'd be looking more bullish to buy the dip to look for that 4-hour higher low. And this may take overnight to play out. This could be, instead of AM, PM, this could be Wednesday, and this could be Thursday. That's not what I want. And I'm open to all outcomes. So however it happens, I'm open to it. And I'm going to use shorter term time frames in order to attempt to top fish a 4-hour lower high and or buy a 4-hour higher low. I can't make it any clearer than that. I'm sure somebody else could, but that's the best I can do. And by the way, the sound thing, I found out that when my microphone is a little too far away from my mouth, you get that little echo. So last night's video, I totally forgot to put the microphone near my mouth so you could hear the little echo. So I'm trying this morning to put it as close as possible so you don't have that echo. Okay, NASDAQ, same exact scenario. We're looking for a 4-hour lower high today, and then a possible 4-hour lower high today and a possible 4-hour higher low on a pullback. RTY 2077.4, that is a level, but I would not call that a pivot. I would say our last 4-hour high is 2096.80. So I'd be looking for a 4-hour lower high compared to 2096.80. So we have levels. This is a level. Here, that is a level where bears stop the bulls in their tracks. I forgot to turn my magnet back on. That's a level. This is a pivot. Do y'all see the difference? This is where price turned. Price did not turn here, but it did spike. So we do have a level, but it's not one of our pivots. Our pivots are where our higher highs, higher lows are. Lower lows, lower highs are where the pivots, where price actually turns. That took me a long time to understand, longer than I'd like to admit. On the Dow, we're looking for a 4-hour lower high, and then the bulls are bouncing enough to possibly get a higher low. And Apple is going to be key to this. For Dow to find a bottom, it needs Apple to participate. The banks are pretty strong this morning, so they're doing their part. But now, higher low, higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low. We broke to a lower low on Dow. ES has not done that. RTY hasn't done that. And NASDAQ hasn't done that. Only the Dow. The Dow has done that to us before, where it led the way down. But didn't get followed through because NASDAQ and ES didn't follow it. So yes, we have a downtrend on the Dow, but we'll see if NASDAQ bounce can help the Dow come out of its spiral. We have VIX with a new higher high on the day. However, we ran into the 200 MA and bears promptly shorted it when we hit that. So we'll see what happens today. This morning, we have the EMAs overhead, and on the next bounce, we're looking for an hourly lower high, which benefits the market bulls. I want to see something. Okay. Hang Seng closed green overnight. DAX closed green. Bitcoin had a great bounce overnight, and ETH even had a better bounce. So this is a classic diamond pattern. Excuse the drawing. My magnet tool is on. I should stop apologizing for my drawing. You already know the score, right? So I should probably stop apologizing. This is a potential 4-hour diamond reversal pattern. When you go from a higher high to a lower low like this and then EQ out on the right side, odds favor down because of the size of this pullback. Think of all the buying power it took to lift Bitcoin from 59,224 up to overnight high of 67,654. $8,000 bounce. That took a lot of buying power. And that's why these diamond patterns develop, because then you have some bull exhaustion, because they're depleting their funds trying to go from a higher high to lower low and push it back up. I hope that made sense. In my brain, that was perfectly clear. Okay, Ethereum got a higher high overnight, and it said nan and a boo-boo to Bitcoin. I need my head checked. We have an hourly uptrend. We have plenty of room for 4-hour higher low. Ethereum is on back burner watch now. With the size of this move, Ethereum is on back burner watch. And I should clarify, Bitcoin can absolutely go to a higher high and get a new all-time high. It can. Odds don't favor it. But look at Ethereum. Odds did not favor it with the size of that pullback, yet they still got it. So we have a double top on the 4-hour on Ethereum here at 3,900. So just watch that, and we have a back burner setup, meaning 5 and 15-minute oversold bounces for flips until bulls prove otherwise. Thank you, Bull Strike Cheetah. When y'all give me that type of feedback, it helps me. I want to be able to help y'all, and so I don't want to waste y'all's time with concepts or analysis that doesn't help further your technical analysis education. Yes, I ultimately would love for all of you to join TCG. I would love for y'all to be a part of the Chart Guys family. But even if you're not, I want to help you on your journey. I had a lot of people help me for free, and that's how I got to where I am. Of course, I had a paid membership to TCG, and that helped me tremendously. So my job here is to help you. If you join TCG, great, but I still want to help. Okay, dollar, we have 4-hour EMAs firmly overhead. We have a double bottom now at 103.58 and 103.57. Gold is up here doing good things. 2171 is resistance. Gold is super strong. These EMAs on the hourly chart have not been in danger since last Thursday. So gold has just been a major bull, and gold can stay on back burner watch as long as these bulls are chugging along like this on pullbacks, like 5-minute oversold like that there. Those are dip buy opportunities. Man, that was a good one. That was overnight though. That was a good one. Oil is bouncing. They have inventory today. Bulls are trying to get something going on the 4-hour. Let's see if 79.49 holds and we get a lower high. That would be what I would favor. And then a pullback to get a 4-hour higher low in a tightening pattern. But the inventory could bust this loose. Yes, I said bust this loose. Nat gas. Nat gas looks good on the 4-hour. Daily, still have an uptrend. Weekly, we still have the potential for a bear flag. But bulls are putting in the work here. Let's see. Anything below 211 keeps a weekly bear flag alive. And I personally like platinum here. Platinum is in a 1 day or 2 day falling wedge. We're getting these tiny lower lows without follow through. And I've been watching this trend line here and how we came back and back tested it. I favor buying a 4-hour higher low against 884 for platinum as a laggard move to gold. So I like this. I actually got a position this morning, and my average, let me see. And when I tell y'all I have positions, I only want to tell you if it's close to the buy price that I got it at, but it also puts accountability on me to give y'all follow-up if I exit. So I'm telling you, I've entered this. My stop is below 884, and I probably won't be actively managing this. So yo-yo, you're on your own on this trade, but that's my entry, 893. So just $1 below where we are right now. But I'm going to stay in this one, and I may add to it if we pull back closer to 884. All right. Apple, and I have not been monitoring chat, so if y'all are yelling at me or anything, there you go, MG. There you go. Hey, Shambhu in India. All right, let's look at Apple. I've been making the joke on my videos that an apple a day keeps the bulls away. So Apple We're getting down here. 165.24 is the last support we got left. We are oversold on the daily. A bounce at this point, actually a gap down today would have been a beach ball. If we could have gapped down one more time, look at these gaps, gap, gap. A gap down today would have been a gift on a silver platter to bulls, in my opinion. But we're not gapping down. We have a measly little bounce here, so we'll see if they can hold yesterday's low and get a bounce going. I would not be a bear on Apple here. I wouldn't. Sure, up here, maybe here, but definitely not here when we're oversold on the daily. 4-hour RSI is still oversold. It doesn't mean it can't bounce and then take another leg down. It absolutely can. Amazon, we have a bunch of 4-hour potential head and shoulders patterns developing. Amazon is one of them. So a lower high is favored compared to 180.14. So bounces, I think today, if we get a bounce this morning, which we are getting a bounce, I think it's for shorting. Nvidia is gapping up. We are testing the all-time high of 876.95. 876.95. We are, this is a proper gap. So gap rules apply, meaning if we come down and test yesterday's high, we test it and hold, that is a long signal. Tesla is weak. Tesla is not oversold on the daily. This bounce just cooled everything off on this 2-week bear flag on Tesla, just cooled everything off. This thing is still up for shorting, in my opinion. All right, I have a ton of Queen of the Mountain trades, and I was really fussing at myself thinking you got too much going on, but I just kept adding when I found them. So let's dig through and see if we can find some that we like better than others. Crowd, we're gapping up. Is this a new all-time high? It should be. Yeah, to a new all-time high on earnings. We're bouncing from that lovely daily 50 MA, which I love. So anything above 345 keeps a bull flag alive on the 4-hour. That is a beautiful, beautiful move. So how do you trade this? I wait for stair steps or tightening patterns for a trigger to enter. The setup is I am looking for a bullish gap and go situation with crowd. That's the setup. What's the trigger? The trigger is I'm waiting for a stair step, pullback to enter and wait for the high of the low bar break, or I'm waiting for a tightening range. CBNA, this is another head and shoulders, potential head and shoulders here. Ooh, that's the ugliest head I've ever drawn. That looks more like a spider. So we're looking for a right shoulder today on CBNA. I like it for a top fish against yesterday's high. So all of these 4-hour head and shoulders, for the most part, that I'm looking at a top fish against yesterday's high. Google, I like to the long side. Are we still gapping up? No. I wanted it for a gap play. I've been calling out that we were right by the daily 200 MA. We lost it yesterday, but bulls are getting back over it right now in pre-market. And the reason I like Google is I'm looking for the monthly higher low. I like that we're right here back over the daily 200 MA in pre-market. And I like this gap and go situation if we could hold 133.24, which we're losing it right now. So this play will be null and void if we do not gap up. If we gap up, I like this play. This is what I was looking for. A small gap up, come back, retest yesterday's high for a potential long signal. That's what I was looking for. If it opens up below yesterday's high, this is null and void. Mara, I like reverse back burner on Mara. 5-minute overbought conditions for continued shorting opportunities. That is null and void if Bitcoin's at a new all-time high. Do you see how that we have these if-then statements? I like this setup, but here's the qualifier. X, it has to be the condition that still exists in order for me to play this. Netflix, potential 4-hour head and shoulders. Top fishing against yesterday's high. And Jolt's data could totally drive this to higher highs and negate all of these head and shoulders because it's a binary event. SMCI and NVIDIA are still on back burner watch. I love both of them for back burners. This name is my pride and joy. I love this name, and it's because it moves so much. So if you're a newer trader, you want to avoid names like this until you become more comfortable. This thing runs about $100 a day. Look, $96.54 is the average true range. This is going to come down at some point. The ATR will come down. The volatility will come down. Until then, I'm going to ride this pony. And it is a bucking bronco. Okay, so I like it for a back burner on SMCI. XBI, Dan was pointing out a 4-hour equilibrium, which I do like this setup for a potential long against 98.72. Whew, I'm running out of air. Kidding. So I like it for a pullback buy against 98.72. Below 98.72, my thesis is wrong. You're late, Diego. Come on. I'm kidding. Yeah, hit that like button. AMD, we're up here testing the all-time high of 211.01. This is a gap rule. We're gapping up, so gap rules apply. As long as we're holding yesterday's high of day as support, this is a long signal. Oh, Elon, shoot. I like, yes, was it at the weekly? I liked it for the monthly high or low. Yesterday I was talking about it. I like the long lower wick of bulls buying this dip. Is it related to CrowdStrike? Is that why it's gapping up? I don't know what, I know they're in technology, but I don't know if they're in cyber attack stuff like CrowdStrike or not. BBAI, okay. And I will be wrapping up here soon. Dan is going live today to do the live stream this morning, and I definitely want to catch him, and I know y'all do too, TCG members. BBAI, we're up 9%, but we're not even close to yesterday's high. Bears will be waiting up here at 463 to short this. Right now, this is a good looking bounce though. Do you see it? Raise your hand if you're sure. Potential 4-hour head and shoulders or a potential hourly head and shoulders. You can see it here a lot clearer. So bears will be waiting right there for a right shoulder top fish. MG 6 years. Long time, dude. It's been fun. I just look at it, MG, to remind me of what's possible. I found myself selling SMCI after a $10 move, and I go look at it, put it on my chart, look at the ATR, and then I take it off because it's too much on my chart. But it lets me know, hey, this thing could go a lot further than you think. Let the move play out. You have to know the instrument you're working with. If you're trading NVIDIA, and it always waxes and wanes when things get super volatile, has a high ATR versus when it doesn't. And NVIDIA is moving approximately $31 a day. So if you're scalping NVIDIA for $2, you're leaving a lot on the table. I use this to remind myself to let the trade play out. Now, does it work every time? No. Do I hold it as long as I should? Usually not. But this is just another reminder, another tool to say, hey, this thing can move $30, on average $31 a day. Let the thing move. And then I take it off. And I do use it for option strike selection. If I'm doing iron condors, I like to know the ATR. If I think SMC IV is going down, if you think it's going to tighten up, I would sell an iron condor. If you think it's going to go down in general, I would say selling a put. If you think it's going to go sideways to up, I would sell a put spread. Yeah, I'd feel more comfortable selling puts on SMCI. expecting the IV, the implied volatility, to go down. And so you would be selling puts in order to collect that premium. All right, that's it for me. Thank y'all for being here. I really appreciate it. If you could hit the like button before you leave, that I would appreciate that as well. And don't forget the webinar tomorrow. It is free. Here's the link right here. The Journey of Two Seven-Figure Traders. Jungle Funk will be interviewing them, and they are two very dynamic, wonderful individuals. You're going to want to watch that. I will be on that stream for sure watching. All right, y'all have a wonderful day and use stop losses.